Now I'm going to go out on a limb and say that most people who read the title of this video, because I've already sort of decided what I'm going to title it, are going to see it and think, oh wow, what does this video involve? What kind of content has this got? This is going to be terrible. And yeah, all will become very clear in a moment, and I'll get onto the whole Keemstar thing in due course. But before I do, I just want to give you a kind of run-up to the series of events, or should I say of the series of events that led me to actually doing this commentary. Now, for the last 3 weeks, I have been playing kind of taxi driver to my father-in-law, who's unfortunately got bowel cancer. And I have to drive roughly about 11.5 miles a day to the Queen Elizabeth Hospital in Birmingham, where he has his treatment, and then, you know, he has about a 5-minute treatment of radiotherapy. Then he gets in the car, and then I drive him, you know, drop him off at the house and go home, or go to work, or do whatever. And I have to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, do that every single day. And, you know, it's good, it's hopefully helping him to get better. It's all for the great of good. Yet, during that time, when I'm in the waiting room, it's quite a sort of morbid and depressing place, because you've obviously got all the regular faces in there of people who are having the same discussions about how they're in pain and how they're feeling and how many treatments they've got left and so on and so forth. And sometimes I try to take a little bit of respite and, you know, I'll excuse myself, go and get a cup of tea, or maybe just go into the bathroom for a while and lock myself in the cubicle and, I don't know, look through my phone or something, just to sort of remove myself from the equation of seeing all the illness and everything around me. But even there, you know, you're in the bathroom, it stinks to high heaven in there, and you can hear somebody in the next cubicle, unfortunately, struggling with their bowel movements, because that's what happens when you have these treatments. It just affects you in the most awful way. However, that's not the worst of it, because when I go back into that waiting room, every single day for the last 3 weeks, there's this little girl, and I would say she's probably about 4, maybe 5, and she is an angel. She is the most adorable and beautiful looking little girl I've ever seen in my entire life. Next to my own daughter, you know, biased and all that kind of thing. But she's absolutely gorgeous, and she walks around and she's, you know, waddling in a little onesie pyjama. And, you know, she's got her slippers on and she's going and playing with these toys. She's just absolutely gorgeous. However, the problem is she's in there not for the reason of visiting or just going with parents. She's having treatment herself. Now, I'm not altogether too sure what treatment she's having, but all I know is that every single day she has to go under anaesthetic and essentially be knocked out, and she gets a radiotherapy or chemotherapy or whatever it is. Now, even though she's very upbeat and smiley, and she's always seems very positive, and her parents are always putting this smiling face on to the nurses that pamper to this little girl's needs, before she goes under, she is in floods of tears and hysterics because she's terrified. Now, at 4 to 5 years old, I would imagine that's really difficult to understand, you know, why am I in here every day? Even though her parents have probably explained and sort of opened the light of the equation to her of why she's going through this treatment, she probably still doesn't understand, because her only crime in life, as far as I'm concerned, is being born. That's it. She hasn't lived long enough to do any bad. Children are just innocent. And to see her going through that every single day, when I get in my car and I come home, I think about this, because I've got a little girl myself, and it plays havoc on my mind. And it most certainly gives me a massive appreciation of my life with my daughter, who's thankfully healthy and normal, and she doesn't, you know, touch wood, have any problems going on, anything like that. Because I don't know how I would deal with it. I don't know how I would get on with my life. I would be heartbroken and I would be a mess. Now, today, I came home and I sort of, you know, I wanted to just switch off a little bit, and I turned on the computer and I had a look through what's going on with my channel, what's going on Twitter, what's going on with my subscriptions. And I've been subscribed to Keemstar or Drama Alert for as long as I can remember. Sometimes, you know, some of the videos appeal to me, most of the time they don't. But I noticed today that Keemstar had uploaded a video which was about 7 seconds long, and it was entitled something like the worst streaming ever or something like that. And I just thought, that's weird, 7 seconds, what could it possibly involve? So I clicked on the video, and it was just him singing, strangely, for about 7 seconds. Whatever, you know, I don't know why he uploaded it, I don't know why he felt the need, but he did, and that's fine. That's it's his channel, he can do whatever he wants. And the first thing I noticed was the like and dislike section, which was about 200 or so likes and about 700 dislikes or something like that. Now, immediately you think, whoa, I've got to read the comments section. Curiosity might kill the cat, I don't know, but I want to have a look. And it most certainly did, because what I managed to read down in the comments section made me lose my faith a little bit more in humanity, and almost made me feel a little bit nauseous. Because aside from the usual sort of comments about kill yourself, KYI, why don't you drink bleach and shit like that, which, Keemstar's trolls generally tend to throw at him. And I'm sure his shoulders are big enough to carry that kind of thing, because at the end of the day, he's made his sort of, I suppose, name and popularity by being one of the biggest trolls on the internet. That's what he does, that's what he's always done. He's had, as far as I'm led to believe, however many channels that have been closed down because of activities that he's done. And, I heard somewhere once, I don't know how true this is, that he actually got a SWAT team sent to somebody's house. I don't know how true that is, but hey, that's just what he does, that's who he is, and, he's gained his popularity out of it, so I suppose in realistic terms, more power to him. Whatever, if people are willing to watch that, whether they hate him or like him, he's done what he's done, and it's got him to where he is. But I started to notice a different kind of comment, and this was the one that really got to me, and I didn't know that Keemstar had a daughter, but apparently, according to these comments, he's got a 5-year-old daughter. And there was comments such as, one guy put, I would love to see my Staffordshire Bull Terrier rape your fucking 5-year-old daughter and leave an abscess on her ass. And, there was one guy saying, your daughter should die, your daughter should drink bleach. One guy even says, your daughter's hot. I know she's 5, just saying. And I thought, wow. Just when you think people could not stoop any lower, they go and fucking surprise you and go lower than a fucking pygmy limbo dancer. Regardless of whether you like or hate Keemstar, regardless of whatever he's done in the past, his daughter should have absolute zero involvement in this whatsoever, because again, going back to the little girl in the hospital, her only crime is being born to him. That's it. She doesn't get a choice in the matter. Now, I don't know what Keemstar's like in real life. I like Only Use Me Blade, and I've heard him talk about him a few times and say he's actually quite a top-notch bloke. Besides all the YouTube trolling and stuff, he's a decent guy. But I would imagine when it comes to kids and it comes to his daughter, like I'm with mine, I'm a different guy away from my family. I can be a bastard when I want to be, or I can be on a building site and say things that might be considered out of sorts. In front of my daughter and in front of my family, I am a loving parent. I am a loving husband. I would do anything. I would catch a fucking bullet for my child. And if she ever got sick, and if she ever, like say, touch wood, if she ever got anything like this little girl at this hospital had, I would gladly, if the opportunity was there, take my own life so that she can continue, because she's young, she's innocent, and she has the right to live. Now, make no bones about this, I'm not trying to kiss Keemstar's ass, because between me, you and the gatepost, and however many people watch this video, Keemstar for me wasn't really flavour of the month a couple of years ago, because the story behind it is a couple of years ago, he hit me up on Twitter where one of my subscribers had linked me to him because he'd apparently said, I need an English guy with a broad English accent to do a promotion for a game that I think he made it, I don't know, or he promoted it or designed it or something, and it was a game called Amputee. And what he wanted doing was this old-fashioned English soldier's voice. A guy had lost his arm in the war, and basically the whole design of the game is you've got this amputated arm that has to try and make a cup of tea. It's called Amputee. Amputee. You see where I'm going with this. And you have to pick up cubes of sugar, pick up a tea bag, pour some water in, and along the way it's supposed to be really difficult and quite sort of sensitive, and you're knocking stuff over, and it's supposed to be difficult. I don't know, I've never played it. But he hit me up and said, would you kindly do that for me? I said, yeah, no problem. And he said to me, thank you very much. If you can do this for me, I'll promote you, or I'll give you a shout out. I'll make sure you get some recognition for this. Now, for my own selfish terms, I thought, wow, okay, I'm a growing channel. This is an opportunity you don't turn down, where a bigger channel, much, much bigger channel, has offered to give you a bit of a shout out, to give you some growth. So I went home and I did this audio. He sent me the script. I sent it back over to him. And boom, that was the last I ever heard of Keemstar. He used it, he uploaded it, and that was that. That was the end of that. And I never got a shout out, I never got a mention. And, I was a little bit done in by that, because I thought, wow, I was hoping something would come from this, and I kind of wasted a bit of an afternoon, but hey, I just looked back on it and I thought, that's Keemstar. That's just what he does. He doesn't really give a shit about anybody else. That's just that, and I took it with a pinch of salt. But I just simply cannot stand back and accept when people can target a man's children with such comments as, like, I want to rape your fucking 5-year-old daughter. Even if these guys are 11, 12, Jesus fucking Christ, we've had the James Bulger case in this country. I don't know how many people have ever heard of that. But a number of years ago, there was these two lads who were about, 9, 10, and they just manage to walk into a shopping area and take this 2-year-old, wander him away from his family and lead him into some desolate part of the woods and fucking rape and abuse him and shove batteries up his ass before torturing him and killing him. There are people that do exist with this sick mindset out there, and even though you try and block it out and pretend that it doesn't happen, it does. And particularly when you read comments like that, it just makes you realise that it's closer to home than you actually think. You want to troll the troll, that's fine. If you think he's a prick, then do what you have to do, but leave the kids out of the equation. It's not called innocence for nothing, you know. Apocalypse done.